Good evening. I'm Boca Raton Mayor Scott Singer, and I'm honored to welcome you to the 2022 State of the City Address. Some of you are watching this live with me at our downtown library, and many more of you virtually. It's a reality of our times that we continue to adapt to new technology and circumstances. But the great thing about Boca Raton is that the ability to innovate and grab new opportunity is in our DNA. This year really looks like an inflection point. How will we emerge from the challenges this pandemic has caused? How will we respond in this moment to further propel our economy forward? And how will we revisit what's worked for us in the past and learn from our experience to make our future even better? As we launch into a new era of progress for our city, we must never rest on reputation. No, it's going to take hustle and hunger. Hustle to seize this moment when more and more people continue to rethink where they want to live and work. Hunger to capture more of the talent and investment that's flocking to South Florida and make sure it stays in Boca Raton. And as always, to pursue excellence in all we do. I'm happy to share again that not only is the state of our city strong, our city is on the move. We continue to provide world-class services with responsiveness and a level of service beyond other governments. We are always looking at how we can better provide the essential services to all in our city. And as Boca Raton rises into our coming second century, we must seize the opportunities of each new day. We will honor our heritage as the vibrant, family-oriented community that has the business strength of a much larger city. We will build on these successes as we reach united for the excitement of the future. I'm humbled to work with a great team of City Council colleagues, Deputy Mayor Andrew Levine O'Rourke, Council members Yvette Drucker, Monica Mayott, and Andy Thompson, as we forge ahead to set a vision for where our city will go. Tonight, I'll share a bit more of that vision and how we can challenge ourselves to get there more quickly. We must be bold, innovative, and relentless. We'll also highlight some of the many successes and accolades our city has earned in the past year, thanks in major part to the nearly 2,000 city employees who serve us so well every day. Let's start with public safety, the most essential part of government. I'm delighted to share that for the second straight year, our crime rate decreased by 9%. Let me repeat that. 2 straight years with a 9% drop in crime in Boca Raton, in an era where crime is rising elsewhere. Over the last 4 years, we've had a 30% drop in crime from what were already very low numbers. Residents and businesses want to be in a city that's safe. We are blessed here, and we should never take for granted how hard our police officers work to give us the safety we need and the peace of mind we expect. Other cities have eroded funding for vital police efforts. Not on our watch. We continue to attract and retain the best police professionals with one of the highest starting salaries for officers in the nation. While other departments have had to lower their standards, Boca Raton hasn't. We continue to lead in safety and accountability. Ensuring our safety also means enhancing our quality of life. With people driving less during the pandemic, we saw some more speeding on our roads. To fight this problem, we've greatly increased police patrols and enforcement of speed limits to keep our streets safe, especially in our walkable downtown. The goal is safety, not tickets, and it's working. One of the City Council's top priorities from last year's goal setting was to increase pedestrian access and safety along East Palmetto Park Road. Neighborhood groups on the Barrier Island suggested some improvements to enhance the prime entrance to our beaches, and we are responding to these concerns with a series of plans. In the meantime, we've gone above and beyond. Later this year, we will add 10 more pedestrian-activated flashing crosswalks along State Road A1A to enhance existing locations like this one at Red Reef Park. This important safety initiative will be a welcome addition to the residents and visitors who stroll or bike along our beachfront avenue. Last June, our area and the nation were shocked by the tragic collapse of the Champlain Tower South condominium in nearby Surfside. It struck home for many of us, including people like me who lived in beachfront condos of a similar age. Right away, we began to look at how we could reduce the risk of similar tragedies. Boca Raton created a new set of best practices and stronger standards for inspections of major building systems. In August, Boca Raton was the first city in Florida after the collapse to adopt an enhanced building recertification ordinance. We didn't set out to be the first to act, but it's no surprise that Boca was again a leader. Other cities in Florida have used our ordinance as a model, and the Florida legislature may as well as they take up this issue. Our law has a shorter timeline than the prior standards of other counties and is more transparent because both draft and final reports will be posted publicly and online. We deserve to know that our homes are safe, and that's why groups like our Beach Condo Association and its residents strongly supported our first in Florida ordinance. As we've often done, we acted quickly for the health, safety, and welfare of our residents and partnered with building professionals and others on sensible measures. Real estate professionals, home buyers, and the media have taken note of our efforts, including the New York Times again just a few weeks ago. Our action should bring greater confidence to property owners and potential home buyers. This is just another of the many ways our Boca Raton team is proactive, especially on safety. Like all agencies, the continuing pandemic impacted all our departments, especially fire rescue services. But as always, our firefighters and paramedics safeguarded the health and safety of our city. After starting 2021 by dispensing COVID-19 vaccines to hundreds of residents, Boca's bravest responded to the thick of the Delta and Omicron waves of the virus. In trying times, they answered more than 16,000 calls last year. Fire Rescue opened new Fire Station 6 to continue to provide the outstanding service that has earned the department the Class 1 ranking from ISO, putting us in the top half of 1% of all departments in the nation. Just as safety attracts new investment, so does existing investment. Boca Raton has long been distinguished from other cities by our thriving business climate, with most of the corporate headquarters in our county. Our strong economy is thriving. In the last 22 months, nearly 3,000 new businesses have started in Boca, bringing us back to our pre-pandemic levels in the range of 12,000 businesses. Boca Raton has been a hub of innovation from the advancement of radar in the 1940s on our Army airfield through the invention of the IBM personal computer in the 1980s to today. This tradition is finding new life in the Boca Tech movement, with Boca's many innovative companies and high-tech professionals leading the way. As one example, a spontaneous gathering of tech professionals attracted more than 100 people getting together to share ideas. Last year, we were chosen as one of 8 cities nationwide to be part of the innovation track of the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Institute. After months of work, a cross-departmental city team developed a plan to connect the many tech startup founders with funders. The goal is to help this tech talent grow and stay in Boca Raton by providing access to needed capital. We look forward to implementing this plan to build on successes like FAU's Research Park and Tech Runway and grow the critical mass of venture funding and tech innovators to create a high-tech ecosystem. We say when you can work from anywhere, why not work from paradise? And it's true. But for CEOs and corporate site selectors unfamiliar with the specific beauty and bounty of Boca, we have to explain why our city's paradise is better than other options. For some of them, it comes down to what their office looks like. We have the largest stock of Class A office buildings in the county, but a lot of it could use some updating. We can be encouraged by proposals for the first new office building in downtown Boca Raton in years, as well as in other areas. Not everyone is working from home, so that's why transportation options and infrastructure are so important. Last month, we had an exciting moment with the groundbreaking here for the new Brightline Station in downtown. It's scheduled to open later this year. More residents spoke at a city council meeting in favor of this initiative than any other in the last decade. The opportunity to be connected to a major transportation network and be one of a handful of cities in South Florida on that network has untold benefits for Boca Raton. This includes our centers of culture, like our amphitheater, Boca Raton Museum of Art, and the Meisner Park Cultural Center, along with businesses, shops, restaurants within and beyond downtown. For our residents, and especially commuting professionals, we'll be able to hop on trains to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm, and our businesses will now attract more talent for high-paying jobs for our city, all while reducing emissions. So many have called Brightline a game changer for Boca Raton, one that will have lasting, positive impacts for our city. This initiative also adds a long-needed parking garage downtown, and thanks to our success in applying for a federal grant and bipartisan congressional support, our costs for the project were greatly reduced. Brightline will be in Boca in large part because we pitched them. 3 years ago, I made a strong case to Brightline executives that Boca Raton had the ridership they needed. After they showed interest, city staff worked hard and quickly to complete a lease and the planning for the area so that we could seal the deal. And that's where I come back to hustle. Brightline CEO mentioned our city's relentless pursuit and my increasingly frequent phone calls. And we needed that hustle and effort because other cities and counties put on a full court press, including offering nearly $100 million in incentives to get their station. In today's market, our brand helps, but it only takes us so far. To maintain our prime position as a center of commerce, we need to build on our successful outreach for new jobs and amenities. Brightline is just one of the many investments to address traffic and build infrastructure. Newspaper articles from the 1960s talk about a traffic problem in Boca Raton, so that's long been a concern. To address it, we are constantly upgrading our technology to better time our traffic lights and signals, and unlike other cities, have synchronized control of all intersections. The North Federal Highway corridor has historically lagged other areas because of limited road connections. I'm pleased that we are in planning stages to connect Clintmore Road across the railroad tracks to Jeffrey Street within the next few years. We have only a few options to link major roadways, and this connection will be a major improvement. We've also invested more in options for bicyclists and pedestrians. This year, we'll begin work and planning on connecting our award-winning El Rio Trail with the expanded multi-use path along Palmetto Park Road. For many governments, from the federal level to nearby cities, one of their biggest problems is infrastructure, failing roads, bursting pipes, and other issues. Boca Raton has prevented countless problems by investing in these crucial assets year after year. In fact, we're in the middle of a multi-year, $500 million campaign without a tax increase to upgrade our roads, sidewalks, and network of underground utilities. I'm standing in Boca Square at the finished site of one of these upgrades, part of the city's innovative sustainable infrastructure program. The innovation comes from using advanced sensors to detect problems and prioritize areas to be replaced. Boca Square is only one of more than a dozen neighborhoods that have undergone major improvements in the last few years. The upgrades above and below ground are done together to save millions in costs. It also saves residents money each month. Our water rates are only a fraction of what some nearby cities charge. This work behind me was completed in time for the opening last summer of the new Addison Meisner School. 2021 was the second of 3 straight years that we will see a new, state-of-the-art public school added to Boca Raton. We appreciate our strong partnership with the school district and board chair Frank Barbieri, and because of it, we are able to head over to our next destination. Here, in front of the construction site for the brand new Blue Lake Elementary. For the last 2 years, this site was used as a temporary school while both Addison Meisner and Verde K-8 were under construction. In August, it will open as the first additional public school in Boca Raton in nearly 2 decades. How did we get here? Again, it comes back to hustle and partnership. Boca Raton was already ahead of all other cities in Palm Beach County in getting 2 of the first 7 schools to be rebuilt with sales surtax funds. This school was originally planned to go elsewhere. When that site fell through, we moved quickly to donate 15 acres to bring the new school to our city. We got this new campus only because we seized this opportunity, becoming the first city in at least 30 years to do so. After our initiative, years of planning, and a lot of collaboration, we look forward to the opening this school year. Our creative partnership with the district will add nearly 1,200 student seats, serving both the many families here in Boca Raton and creating new space for more students as more people move here. The investments in infrastructure both help us deliver outstanding services and also help our bottom line. Boca Raton again has one of the lowest tax rates of any full-service city in Florida. And when you layer in the additional costs, like the water fees that are much higher in other cities, you can see how much more efficiently we serve our residents with the higher level of service we expect for our city. Boca Raton has long been known as a city within a park, with our 47 parks, ample green space, and miles of pristine beaches. We're in the middle of a major expansion of our recreational assets. After the generous donation by the owners of the Boca Raton, the city has been working hard to transform the former Boca Country Club into the new public Boca Raton Golf and Racquet Club. In 2021, we spent several million of the $65 million we gained from the sale of our Western course and used it to refresh and update this new edition. In November, we opened this 18-hole championship golf course to the public. We are adding new landscaping, renovating the clubhouse, and expanding the tennis courts into a premier racket facility that will include pickleball courts. These amenities are designed for our residents and will also serve the neighboring Boca golf and tennis community. We also have professional tours coming to Boca Raton for these sports. In the last few months, Boca Raton was the site of a PGA Champion Schwab Cup Senior Golf Tournament and the APP Pickleball Tour. Along with the Boca Raton Bowl, millions of eyes see these televised events. We all know the world-class recreation and green space that we have in our city. The national TV audiences see some of that, along with the many other benefits of life in Boca Raton. We're hard at work on the next addition to our waterfront master plan. After years of planning, including visioning sessions with residents, Wildflower Park will open in the fall, creating a 6-acre downtown green space that connects under the bridge. The centerpiece is a new wide pedestrian promenade linking both sides of Palmetto into one space. You can also see the new seawall to support this promenade and defend against rising waters. Work on a pavilion, public art, and play areas will follow. At Silver Palm, we are doubling the size of our boat ramp and adding launches for canoes and kayaks. These parks will open later this year and will enhance both our downtown and provide a prime gateway to our pristine beaches. Boaters will have more options as we begin work in the coming year on restoring Lake Wyman Park, which includes reopening canoe trails. The most recent of our waterfront parks, Hillsborough Rio South, opened in 2020 and was a prime destination last year for residents with its own sandy boat launches, playground, pickleball courts, and more. We all love the waterfront, and we've greatly expanded options for our residents to enjoy it. For the 42nd straight year, Boca Raton earned the Tree City USA designation, as well as receiving a Growth Award for our tree canopy assessment. We are adding even more shade trees throughout the city. In October, with support from Brightline, we opened the new Junior League Garden at Meadows Park, the nation's first iguana-resistant community garden. And the Pearl City community added a second community garden in memory of Alan Willis. Tourism, our area's leading industry, is back and poised for greater success. The former Boca Raton Resort and Club, the destination around which our city was planned, has been restored to historical luster and transformed into the Boca Raton. The $200 million renovation will continue to attract major conventions and tourism, fueling our economy and continuing to bring in leaders in government and industry to Boca Raton. We look forward to working with the hotel's ownership on beautification efforts for Camino Real. In addition, the Mandarin Oriental has made significant progress toward adding another world-renowned brand to our downtown. Bloomberg News ranked Boca Raton as one of 25 places in the world to see this year and one of only 3 places in the United States. They called us suddenly cool, but for those of us here, we've been cooler for longer than some people give us credit. One of the City Council's priorities for this year is to complete a long-term land lease with the nonprofit Boca Raton Center for Arts and Innovation for their bold and promising vision of a $140 million multi-stage performing arts center to anchor the north end of Meisner Park. This proposed facility would be built and operated with private contributions and still provide opportunities for community events. Among our major cultural events are the return to live performances at the Festival of the Arts Boca and the series at the Meisner Park Cultural Center, and special events like the recent TEDx Talks. We've seen the benefits to tourism and to recreation from sports. This year, the Boca Raton Ice and Fine Arts Center will bring hockey, skating, and on-ice performances to Boca Raton. In 2021, we saw more work to streamline our old development processes, part of an ongoing multi-year effort. Let's be clear, streamlining doesn't mean lowering our standards. It means cutting needless red tape to free up our staff time for the sensible, responsible planning for the future of Boca Raton. Our continued streamlining effort has been working, with permitting time way down. That's all while our staff processed more than 12,000 permits in 2021, the highest number since 2006. Many in the business community have gotten the message and are spreading it. We must give them reason to do so and rebut any notions to the contrary, some of them outdated but lingering. South Florida is in the midst of the largest inflow of capital in a generation. Companies want the things Boca Raton provides: outstanding services, safe and livable neighborhoods, talented workforce, low taxes, transportation options, great schools, and a variety of housing options. But we have neighboring cities trying to build themselves as the haven for families and companies that Boca Raton is. And with some people looking for the first ticket to anywhere in Florida, we have to realize the landscape. To help keep pace, we've added a concierge service for larger investments, in addition to our other efforts. We excelled before the pandemic in quickly working out the details on a long-term land lease for Brightline. We excelled in creating the first partnership with a school district for a city to donate land in more than 30 years, and then jumping over hurdles that came in the siting and state approval processes. We'll deliver on these results later this year. In order to reach our potential, we need even more of that type of spirit and urgency. The next few years are essential. Never resting on our achievements, we need to build on our experience and continue to deliver outstanding results. Our Boca Raton brand is strong, but it will take more than that alone. We are competing for talent, investment, amenities, and the many things we all enjoy. We must launch a new era of success today to create a sustainable path for the coming decades. Let us ensure that Boca Raton is even more widely known as the best place to live, work, play, and learn. In our history, we've seen the spirit of innovation and reaching beyond our current success by so many people, including a few Boca Raton legends we lost in the last year. Coach Howard Schnellenberger created a football program from scratch at Florida Atlantic University and moved it to the top echelon, just as one of the many reasons that FAU has risen in prominence, like our other universities, Lynn and Everglades. Lois Martin was a Boca Raton pioneer and for decades served as an educator, volunteer, board member, and dedicated advocate for Pearl City and Dixie Manor. Nearly 40 years ago, her work led to the expansion of the community center that bears her name, and it has served thousands of residents. She too saw a need for something greater. These are only two of the countless Boca Raton residents who have shaped our city into what it is. It's now up to us to continue to push for excellence. As we approach our city's centennial in 2025, we must ensure that our second century will be even greater than our first. It's why we are focused on infrastructure, transportation, and job creation. It's why we will continue to properly fund our public safety professionals to ensure our neighborhoods thrive. We are increasing our abundant green space, partnering with our school district and nonprofits, and ensuring our economy evolves with new technology. We are focused on raising the high standards we expect for Boca Raton today so that our children and grandchildren can have the city of the future they deserve. All of these accomplishments and plans for the coming years take a team effort. It's not only the nearly 2,000 city employees, but also our 100,000 residents, thousands of businesses, and scores of nonprofit, religious, and community groups, all of whom contribute something to the success and spirit of Boca Raton. As part of that team, I feel fortunate to work with colleagues who bring their unique passions and perspectives. Deputy Mayor Andrew Levine O'Rourke has been a steadfast advocate for public art in our city, including the murals that now adorn Meisner Park Amphitheater, Red Reef Park, and our beach tunnels, with more sculpture to come. Councilmember Monica Mayotte has raised important sustainability concerns by sponsoring initiatives to reduce plastic waste and chemical use in our green space, while advocating for streamlining in our downtown. Councilmember Andy Thompson recently completed a year of running 475 miles of Boca's streets, identifying problems to be fixed, along the way joining volunteers to pick up more than 1,200 pounds of trash. And Councilmember Yvette Drucker has been a longtime advocate for education, serving as a PTA president, chair of our Education Task Force, and now as a volunteer on the school district's Advisory Boundary Committee. We all share a passion for service and know that we need to keep advancing Boca Raton forward together, especially at this key moment. My colleagues and I are honored to have the opportunity to serve and work with all of our partners and you to keep Boca Raton as an outstanding city dedicated to serving our residents well and on a continuing pursuit to greater excellence. Thank you for being part of our shared mission to always keep Boca Raton on the rise.